What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the On Purpose podcast, where we believe purpose isn't found, it's built, right? It's built through our actions, it's built through clarity of thought, it's built through our willingness to open our minds and continue to learn, to challenge ourselves, to give ourselves opportunity to explore new things, to revisit things maybe we had formed opinions on in the past, but maybe don't hold true to us anymore. And today, I want to share with you a moment that really caught me off guard recently and caught me off guard in the best way. And that's when I was speaking at a conference covering one of our new presentations we do called Resilience by Design. And one of its core pillars is remembering the who over the what, right? Remembering the people behind the task. And specifically in training environments and leadership positions, it's easy to assign people titles and roles and forget that behind that is an actual living human being with needs, validations, requirements, and behind them is an entire family, right? So that was part of the talk, and when I wrapped up, I was happy with how it went. And then one of the vendors that was at the conference, so not an attendee, but a vendor there selling a product, came up to me and we had a good conversation. He shared with me that he was a former police officer and had left a career somewhat disillusioned by just how it goes sometimes. And he told me that my talk moved him, but then he asked me something that really just made me stop, and I didn't have an answer. And honestly, I had never even thought of this question. And that was, weren't you afraid to leave law enforcement and step into podcasting and leadership training, especially with so many bigger names already out there? And again, I looked at him and I had to look away because I'm like, man, I've never even thought of that. So in this episode, I want to dive deeper into this and we're going to unpack that moment, what it taught me about comparison, courage. It's something that I think is so true that we get hung up on so many different places in our life, and that is success is not a limited resource. We'll talk about showing up even when the space feels crowded and why your voice matters more than you think. But before we do that, before we dive into this, please do me a favor, get over, like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you so much for all of you that have been commenting recently. It's amazing what a few comments like great episode or thank you for sharing does for the algorithms and helps us find more people and helps the platforms, YouTube, the podcasting app, social media, want to share us with more people. So thank you so much for doing that. And then a special request as we get into the month of November and into the holidays, if you're thinking about gifts and stuff, take a moment and visit our partners, the small businesses that have unique ownership stories that choose to partner with us because they believe in our mission, we believe in theirs. And we think that together we can grow all of our brands and create positive impact around the world. And that's honorthebrave.com, veritasathleticperformance.com, thehideawayfl.com, and visit us over at teamhardy.net for your leadership needs. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. And let's dive into this. So reminding you, so I'm at this conference and I do my talk, and a former police officer identifies himself, and we talk for probably 20 minutes. It's a great conversation. And then when he asked me, was I afraid to enter a space because there were already popular people there? And he mentioned one specific name, and I'm not going to share it here, but I know this person through social media. I know this person through their platform, and they're great. They're fantastic at what they do. But I never once thought I should be afraid of them. I never once thought, man, if just because they're having so much success, now I can't be successful. So when he asked me that, I had to pause and just think. And it made me wonder for you all, have you ever hesitated to pursue something because somebody else was doing it? Right. And I ask you to think about that for a second. Is there something you really want to do in life? Is there some goal, some dream, some idea you really have, but you've hesitated because other people are already doing it? And if so, why? Why are we giving that power away? Why would we not chase our dreams because somebody else is chasing their dreams, right? And that's one of the beautiful things about dreaming and about pursuing in a world of abundance is there's enough success for all of us. So I was never afraid to enter a space. What I was afraid of, this is what I told him, what I was afraid of is not showing up or entering a space half-assed, getting into it and not giving it my all. So then I was sabotaging myself and I couldn't be successful. And you see, when I thought back to what he said, if I told myself that, if you tell yourself that, you're really just making an excuse for not showing up because you have no idea how successful you can be. You don't know if you'll be bigger than this person they know. Maybe you won't. But if you're not, and this is what I shared with him, this person that you identify as a kind of a celebrity is not going to be for everybody. So who picks up the people they're not for? Not everybody's into military combat and strategy and tactics and lessons learned from fighting overseas. There certainly are people, and good for them. That's a great place for them to go. But what if you're not? What if that doesn't resonate with you? What if you have no experience in that realm? Who do you go to? Maybe it's us. Maybe it's you that they would come to, but they can't find us if we're not there. Right. So when I was talking to him, I said, my bigger fear is not showing up. My bigger fear is not following through. My bigger fear is leaving talents, leaving skills, leaving things that drive me, motivate me. Speaking, I love to do. Sharing stories, I love to do. Podcasting, I love to do. My bigger fear is not doing things I love to do because I'm afraid somebody else is doing it. Well, how many unique things are humans doing in the world? We're all pretty much replicating something somebody else is doing. We modify it to meet us, but there's very few things that are just nobody else can do. So why would I eliminate myself from that competition? Why would I eliminate myself from pursuing things that light me up, that I enjoy? That as I sit here right outside Bryce Canyon on this beautiful fall day, that I get to talk to you and share this story. Why would I not do stuff like that? And as I was wrapping up this conversation with him, I shared the other thing that I would be afraid of is letting people down. Because maybe I'm not for everybody, just like this big person they know is not for everybody. But if I'm for one person and I don't show up, maybe I don't make a difference in their life. Maybe our voice isn't the one they hear when they need it the most because we didn't even say it. We didn't speak. We didn't appear. So I'm not afraid of being compared to others. I'm not afraid of not reaching an elite status that maybe others have. Like that doesn't bother me. That doesn't even motivate me, to be honest, to be somebody else. My fear is not showing up for the people who are looking for me. My fear is not being there for the people who need me. And my fear is not fulfilling all that I can be while I'm here. You see, I'm at an age now, and I think a lot of us in this community are, well, they say you're midlife, but really you're 3/4 life. So that means I have a quarter of it left. What am I doing? Fear isn't going to dictate what I do, what I try. Comparison is certainly not going to minimize who I can become. So it was interesting that comment, and I don't know what he thought of that response, to be honest with you. I don't know if he just thought it was bullshit, if it was bravado, but I literally thought of that question, and then as I drove, I had a couple hour drive after the conference back where I was going. That was the thing that stuck with me, and it was awesome because we impacted 100 and some people there, and got great reviews, and that's what I want. But I was also like, okay, maybe this guy is the one I was supposed to reach at this conference. Maybe this guy wants to do something big, and maybe his gift will change the world. And maybe just by me showing up and sharing my little story with them and a program I created, maybe it inspires him to do his thing. And maybe he's right. Maybe I'll never be as big as this other guy, but maybe he will. And he took action because we had this conversation. Think about that. That's that ripple effect we talk about, right? I can't create a ripple if I don't throw the stone. And if I don't even step into because I'm afraid I won't be as big as other people, this guy doesn't have that conversation. And maybe the presenter there doesn't share the same message that I shared that resonated with him to where he wanted to come speak to a stranger, not stay at his table and sell the product he was there to do, but to actually engage, share, and learn something. Maybe that's why I was there. And, you know, I talk a lot about this, right? I talk a lot about that the universe doesn't work on accident. People don't cross your path on accident. They're there for a reason. It's up to us. Are we slowing down enough to learn? Are we slowing down enough to share? Are we paying attention to who's there and how we're showing up for them? You know, so I want to ask you this week, you know, we're getting to the busy time of year with holidays and family and stuff. Year-end things, we're going to have people working on their New Year's resolutions, a word of the year, and all those fun things. But I want to ask you right now, like, think about this. Is there something you're holding back because somebody else is already doing it? Because you're comparing yourself to their success, and if you don't feel like you can reach their success, you're not even going to try. Well, I ask you to reconsider that. Show up. Show up for you. Show up for the people you're leading. Show up for the people that are watching. Show up for the people that actually need you, and maybe they don't even know it yet, but they're going to meet you on your journey. Right? We don't have to be perfect to show up. We don't have to have all the answers to show up. We just have to choose to show up. And then the rest will take care of itself. So as I wrap up this week, I want to thank you for being here. I want to just leave you with this little quote I thought of, and that is, there's enough success for all of us, whatever we're doing, but it cannot find you if you're hiding. If you're hiding from what it is that lights you up. So give me your thoughts this week. I'd love to hear from you on what you thought, what you think of this message, and what we're not going to hide from. Why we need to show up, and what we're willing to believe in for ourselves and those that look up to us. So thank you so much for being here. Have a great rest of your week. Like us on social media, get over to YouTube, subscribe, share, give us some comments, and we'd love your feedback. So have a great week, everybody.